So I had planned to do the whole video like this, and I thought to myself, hey, if people don't like it, whatever. I hope you can learn to love me for who I am. But I realized that this lip, man, the lip is too crazy. It's super distracting. It makes my teeth look so yellow. I think we can live with the eyes. In the last video I did that Twiggy 60s look, so I wanted to do more Twiggy 60s mod looks and go really, really jarring black and white kind of look. It's gonna be way too distracting, so I won't put you guys through that. I keep looking at my stupid lips in the mirror. I'll be right back when I fix this. So this is still probably very washed out and jarring and a lot, but that's the look I'm going for, so you're just gonna have to love me for who I am. Hey friends, welcome back to Beer and Beauty. Tasty. Favorites video. It is the end of the month. It is the end of March, almost April. So it's time to share my March favorites. I don't have a ton of March favorites because I haven't been wearing a ton of makeup this month, but I have a couple things and a couple lifestyle things. And first of all, let's talk about this beer. This is actually a favorite too. I think it was last month. Yeah, I believe it was last month I shared with you another Amherst Brewing Company beer. That one was called Jess and this one's called Katie. I think I like Katie even better. Just tried Katie a couple days ago for the first time. This beer is super good and it's one of my favorites. It's a little bit more complex than the Jess was. Like the Jess is like more of a straightforward IPA. This one's pretty straightforward too, very tasty. Brewed with white wheat and malt oats, hopped with Simcoe, Mandarina, Bavaria, and Equinat. Even that description sounds a little bit more complex, but it's just like, it's not as hoppy as the Jess. It's more of a range of flavors coming across your palate. It's very good. I love these like girl named beers from Amherst Brewing Company. They have been so good, and look at her. My boyfriend thinks that it's kind of like pandering to have these like pin-up-y army girls. I don't think so. I think this chick looks badass. She's like some sort of, I think they're all pilots. They're all some sort of like aviation specialists of sort that are cute girls. Starting off the favorites video strong. Cheers to that. So like I said, I haven't been doing my makeup a ton this month. This month has been really kind of a lot about bringing in some money and also getting some exercise, getting some workouts in. And I tried really hard to build a new website this month and I still haven't gotten around to it. There's just too much stuff going on, goddammit. I did try a couple things this month and noticed a few things that like I kept reaching for again and again and loving them. First up is this Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette. I actually used this in a Get Ready With Me at the beginning of the month. And for the first time, like in that Get Ready With Me, I was just using a lot of products that I haven't used before, including this palette. And right away, I knew that this was gonna be a favorite. Like right away, as soon as I touched it, I'm just like, this is probably gonna end up in my March favorites, which it did. I've only used a handful of the colors, but that's okay. That's all I need to really use to know that the pigments out of this palette are just completely insane. I really loved using the red. The red is very crazy. Let me swatch it for you there. You can go ahead and watch that Get Ready With Me video where I kind of show my first impressions of this. Yeah, that red swatches pretty insanely, doesn't it? That was just one pass. And I tried to use this color as like my little transition, and that is also very insanely pigmented. I used this green in a lot of St. Patrick's Day looks. St. Patrick's Day happened this month. That's how it looks like swatched. Still, this one isn't as pigmented as I hoped for, but you can really build it up and pack it on and you can get still a very true to form color. And it pairs beautifully with the other green in this palette, which I have been using a lot too. I've been using these colors together a lot. See how rich that forest green is? It's beautiful. And I didn't, you know, I bought it as like a panic buy at the beginning of my no-buy year, and I hadn't used it until the beginning of March, so I let 2 months pass before I got to use this palette. Guess what, guys? I still have lots of palettes that I bought the end of last year that I still haven't used, just because I kind of plan my looks in a very particular kind of fashion. It's not really about the palette that I'm using, it's more about the look that I'm going for. Like, as you can tell right now, I've got like a very mod, twiggy, 60s kind of vibe going on. In the 60s, they didn't have pop and highlight like this, but they did have these little twiggies. This was inspired, I don't know how many people are gonna recognize this, but this was a look that was inspired by an episode of State of Grace. Did anybody ever watch that show? It's not a show you need to watch. It's not like a groundbreaking show of sorts, but I used to watch it because it was about 12-year-olds. I was 12 when I was watching it, so that great actress that plays Maybe in Arrested Development, that was one of her first roles when she was a young child star. Anyway, back to the palette. Yellow, it's really hard to get a good yellow, but this yellow is pretty good. Yellows are hard to make because they're already inherently so light, so it's hard to get them to have good pigmentation without losing their lightness, you know what I mean? Oftentimes you kind of need to use a white base on the bottom, but that looks like a nice daffodil yellow. Like, it's a beautiful color. I'm really interested in swatching this hot pink. I haven't touched this yet, but I'm sure. Look at my finger. Oh my gosh. Yep, really, really poppy pink. Let's give it a second pass. I have noticed them staining my eyes a little bit, but if you're just using a thick layer of primer on top of your eyes, you should be fine. And just use coconut oil or like a balm kind of type cleanser, it will take it right off. The pigment on this palette is unreal. The colors are very true to color. They're easy to work with. They're actually surprisingly blendable too. For as pigmented as they are pretty good, easy to blend, especially if you use a more like a pastel version of that same color to blend out the two colors, or use like, I've been using a lot of Anastasia shadows to blend out the colors, like a neutral Anastasia shadow, and the smoothness combined with the pigment in these really kind of works nicely together. I've been loving this palette, highly recommend. Of course, I don't think I would die without this palette. Like, I have lots of great brightly colored palettes in my collection, but this one, the pig one on this, has been really insane, and I've been loving using it for my St. Patrick's Day looks. That red look I did in the Get Ready With Me. And as somebody that is such a fan of monochromatic looks, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I do a lot of looks where I pair my lip to my eyes. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that clip in the beginning of the video, but I tried to do white lipstick with this. I think I'm gonna continue to do those monochromatic looks because I love them so much, and this palette is definitely gonna be helpful. Really good job on Colored Rain's part, because I think this is just the kind of palette that a lot of people are asking for now. Like, bright palettes are really popular right now. So if you are in the market for a Brights palette, I believe I bought this one on sale. This was like $27 when I bought it. It's on sale too. Really worth it. Really good Brights palette. If you're in the market for a Brights palette, I recommend this one for sure. You know, my Sugar Pill palette is an amazing Brights palette. However, that one's much more expensive than this one, and this one might be more pigmented in some instances too. Also on the Colored Rain train, I've got this Lippy by Colored Rain. This is the shade called Jade. And as I mentioned, I haven't been doing my makeup a ton this month, but the few times that I have done my makeup, it was for St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of St. Patrick's Day looks can be seen on my Instagram. Check it out. I'm doing 100 days of makeup, including a bunch of St. Patrick's Day looks. For a green lipstick, I've been using it a lot. I bought it alongside this palette. Both of these came together in the same order at the end of last year, and since I bought it, I've used this for so many looks, at least 5 looks, which is like a lot for a green lipstick because it's not like you're wearing green lips every day. But anytime I'm like inspired to do a green look, which I have been doing St. Patrick's Day, I've been using this lipstick. It is really beautiful. I insert a couple pictures of the looks I've done with this lipstick, but it is like a really sexy, it's like a dark lipstick with a forest green metallic shift. That's not like super poppy metallic, it's just really sexy and grungy and serpentine goddessy. Let me go ahead and give you a little swatchy poo. So yeah, isn't that sexy? Like, imagine that on the lips. And if you don't want to imagine, you can go onto my Instagram and see all my looks. Pretty sick looks with this lipstick. It is beautiful, and I'm just really surprised how many times I've reached for a green lipstick in the last 3 months. So that is the Colored Rain lipstick in Jade. I love it for the color, but the formula is really good too. It's kiss proof, but it's not drying, but it stays really nicely too. It's not as long lasting as many liquid lipsticks, but it's still very nice. I wore it yesterday when I went to go see Captain Marvel. It wore off after I ate all the popcorn. You know, oily, buttery popcorn. But beautiful. My boyfriend likes it too. Every time I wear it, he's just like, whoa, look at my cool girlfriend. Another makeup fave that I just discovered out of my collection. I bought this ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the summertime. Like I bought it in like July or August or something like that. When I bought it, it was way too light for me to use. So I put it down and I hadn't touched it basically until this year. I decided to pull it out of its forgotten state and use it, and it's been my go-to concealer all month long. It's really, the formula is really good. It's very high coverage. A lot of people have been comparing it to the Tarte Shape Tape. The Tarte Shape Tape concealer, but I like it better, actually. I don't think it's as long lasting as a Tarte Shape Tape. The Tarte Shape Tape is a really great go-to concealer for a lot of people because it's so long lasting, it's very high coverage, you barely have to set it with a powder. But I find it really drying. This is much more moisturizing, but it's still very high coverage, a little bit less dry looking. I barely have to set it either. It just looks really good. I think I am wearing it today. It has a hard time mixing into the foundation I use. I use the Makeup Forever Velvet Matte Foundation. I don't know why I'm wearing matte foundations right now. I guess I'm just trying to make it happen. It's not gonna happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
It's because I'm going with a 60s kind of look, so I don't know, I just wanted a matte foundation. Because it's a 60s look, I want to look really kind of makeup-y, you know? But yeah, I've been really loving the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. And yeah, I haven't been able to wear it in the summer because it was way too light. It's in the shade Light 16, which I figured, oh, 16's a pretty high number, that's probably going to be much tanner. But it was so white, I couldn't use it during the summertime, but now that I'm kind of in my pale states, wintertime, I haven't been able to put this down all month. I've been really liking the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Sure, I'll give you a swatch, why not? Yeah, it's like a little bit more moisturizing, it has a little bit more work time than the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I have a little bit of green shadow on my finger there, but it does set up and it stays really in place. It's really nice. And I'm kind of interested in using it as a foundation. Andrea Mattiliano was talking about how she likes to use this concealer as a foundation. That might help this concealer get put to good use in that way. Okay, so just one more makeup product. These are my favorite lashes that I've been wearing like non-stop this month and for years now. Like I bought these Cocoa lashes at IMATS last year, around this time actually. And I've loved the Cocoa lashes so much. I have 4 styles of them. This one's in the style Baby G. I've been reaching for these lashes like all the time ever since I bought them. They're a really good size because they're really full and thick and luscious, but not so long that they cover up your eye look. And as you know, I'm a big eyeshadow girl, so I don't always want lashes that are gonna cover up my eye look. I want to show off my eye look a little bit, and these are like a really good in between. They're like very full and sexy and big and fluttery. I just want you to kind of see. Well, I mean, these aren't glued on, but it gives you kind of an idea of like how big and muppety my lashes can be. I think this one's called Baby G because it's like a smaller version of the Goddess lashes that they have. So these are the Baby Goddess lashes. I basically have only worn these lashes all month long, except for the lashes I'm wearing on my eyes right now, which are Lily lashes. I just wore them because they're a bit more spiky. And then I got a pair of Lily lashes in my BoxyCharm and I wore those a couple times. But other than those, these are the lashes I've been wearing constantly with like every look throughout March. And I've had these lashes for about a year. I think I've worn them nearly 20 times. They're still going strong. I actually stayed over my boyfriend's house the other day. I didn't have my little box to put my lashes away in, so I put them in a paper towel. My boyfriend thought it was trash and he went and accidentally threw it away. And I went into the trash and I retrieved them. They weren't all gross and covered in like rotten milk and shit. Like, no, they were still fine. They were still inside the paper towel. But yeah, because they're my favorite lashes, I pulled them out of the trash and I sanitized them. I put a little alcohol on them. They're good to go. And I feel like there's gonna be at least another 10 or 20 uses left in these lashes. So that's really cool. Love that. Highly recommend. I think when I go to Ebates in April, if they're selling Cocoa Lashes anywhere, I think I'm gonna pick up a couple more pairs because these are really gorgeous and I love them. Couple lifestyle favorites. So March. I'm really surprised that spring is here. Usually all of March in New England it remains cold. You know, there's this saying, March begins like a lion but ends like a lamb, and I'm over here like, bullshit! Even though it hasn't been warm, it's been getting warmer. Like the snow is like very much melting. The last time it snowed was March 10th. By the way, I had to work so much that day. I had 2 gigs, one in New Hampshire, one in Worcester. I had to spend like 5 hours of my day driving because it was not fun to drive in the snow and the roads were not cleared. But ever since last week, the weather has been steadily increasing. The temperature has been rising. I went hiking last Sunday and there was so many people on the mountain because it was like a 55-degree day. So people were like in their t-shirts hiking. The parking lot for the mountain was full. Like I went hiking in Mount Tom and there was so many people there. It was crazy. But because spring is here, I have been going out more. I've been going out into the light. Daylight savings time being over is a favorite. I really, like immediately the sun starts setting at like after 6:30. Like I feel better already. Like there's something about the sun going down at 4 o'clock. It just makes you instantly depressed. It's just like, well, might as well not even try cooking a healthy meal for dinner because it's dark out. I might as well just go to bed. I'm just gonna eat some ramen and go to bed. Eat some chicken nuggets and go to bed. But now that it's springtime, I feel like I'm cooking more. I've been baking my own French fries. Like I've been cutting up a potato and putting some oil and salt and pepper on it and some like Parmesan and stuff, different things, and making my own baked French fries, and they're so good, which is helping me deal with how I'm not buying chips this year. Random little part of my no-buy year was I told myself I wasn't gonna buy chips. I could still have chips if somebody else bought me chips, but I can't buy them myself. I have been eating less chips as a result, and that was the whole goal. It wasn't really even about money because a bag of chips is like $1, but it's a vice of mine that I can't stop with. So I've been getting out of the habit of eating chips and getting into the habit of making my own French fries. Organic French fries, homemade, baked, delicious. As the weather was rising, but it was still pretty cold, I decided to take up a trial of hot yoga in town. There's like a hot yoga studio. It's called Shiva Shatki, I think. Guys, I think it's a favorite. My boyfriend kind of made fun of me for a little while for taking hot yoga because it's like a thing that yuppies do. Just like, oh, hi Chad, how are you today? Oh, you know, I'm very well. This morning's hot yoga class was very good for the mind, body, and soul. Yeah, of course, being in a sauna is gonna feel good and doing yoga is gonna feel good. And when you put yoga and a sauna together, it's gonna feel good. And if you're really cold and you're getting warmed up really, really hot to the point that you're sweating through all your clothes, it's gonna feel good, especially if you're somebody that hates being cold and likes being warm. So I've really liked it. I knew I would. When the discounted trial was over, the trial was like you pay $20 and you could take as many classes as you want for a week. I ended up taking 5 classes. I think that's a pretty good trial, 5 classes in a week. I felt like I was moving and using muscles that I normally don't use. I felt like the workout was really good. Like it wasn't the kind of yoga that's just for stretching. It's more of a whole body yoga. It's more of an active yoga that's actually a workout in a lot of ways. It was very difficult. Like I took one of the intermediate classes, which is like, I couldn't do most of the poses. It was too hard. It was a lot of balancing on your hands and doing headstands and balancing on one toe with your head behind your head, with your foot behind your head. Like it was really intense. I couldn't do half of the poses. I did what I could, but that was the last class I took. And normally once I'm done with my like discounted trial, I'm just like, okay, that's good. It's springtime now. I think I'm just gonna, instead of going to yoga classes, I'm gonna go running, and that's gonna be my exercise. I'm gonna get into running again soon. But you guys, those hot yoga classes made me feel really good. Like my mind felt clearer. I felt like my body felt good. Like my body felt like I was using it. I was using all my muscles. My back was all sore a lot of the time because the poses are that rigorous. They actually do work your muscles in a crazy way, but it kind of felt good. It was the kind of like soreness that feels good. Like, yes, you're doing a workout and it's good. And it's so good that you're doing that workout. It's been a week almost since I've taken my last hot yoga class, and I really miss it. And I kind of like want to take more. Hot yoga, man, it's a favorite. I also took a free trial of at a gym. Like, there's a gym in town that I can walk to. I took a free trial there, and it just felt, it was a favorite to just get back into working out. You know, I would go there. I did take one yoga class at the gym. It was in Anytime Fitness, if anybody's curious. And I went there, I think 5 or 6 days out of the week. I ran on the treadmill. I did a little bit of crunches, a little bit of weightlifting. It's been helping me with my seasonal depression to just kind of get active and get into a regimen that's like good for you, and taking care of yourself, and self-care is really important. Yada yada. But yeah, that's it, guys. Those were my March favorites. Not too many, but I do talk a lot, so this is probably a decently long video. Tell me down below in the comments what are some of your March favorites. They don't have to necessarily be makeup or skincare favorites or hair favorites. Tell me about different things that you've done throughout the month that helped you move along in your life. Tell me about your favorite beer. Oh, okay, I have one more favorite I gotta tell you about. Captain Marvel. I just saw Captain Marvel last Monday. It's crazy because a couple days before I went and saw Roma on Netflix. And Roma is a beautiful film. Lots of beautiful shots. A lot of very raw scenes, like a lot of very like visceral, very artfully done, very deliberately paced film. But Captain Marvel was like different because it was so fast paced. The soundtrack was incredible. I was never bored throughout the entire movie. Brie Larson she had a really good presence. I liked that she looks like an actual human, is an actual human. And I'm not going to give away too much about this movie because I think everybody should check it out, especially if you were once a young girl or are raising a young girl. But, you know, the difference between Captain Marvel and Roma is that, like, I don't really understand what I was supposed to learn as my moral, like what's going to help me in my life from watching Roma. It's more about her story. It's not really about me. Captain Marvel is like really inspirational in the sense that, like I said, I'm not going to give away too much, but the moral is that Captain Marvel was able to find her strength in being a human girl, a human person, a human woman, rather than being a very powerful superhero. You know, that the strength came from her being a girl and pushing through the hard times. That's what made her strong, and I think that's super inspiring. And it was just like a fun movie, like I said, very action-packed, really good cast. I loved the way that they made Samuel L. Jackson look like a young version of himself. Like, he was playing a much younger character than he is in real life. Like, actual Samuel L. Jackson, how old is he? So yeah, Samuel L. Jackson is 70, but he looked like he was in his 30s or 40s in this movie. And, you know, that's makeup movie magic. That was really cool. His character was really great in the movie. I loved the little kitty cat in the movie. It was just like a fun movie. If you're somebody that is a sucker for 90s nostalgia, I think you'll have fun watching this movie too. And I really liked it. So, that is truly it. That is all my favorites for the March of 2019. During my no-buy year. No-buy year still going strong. Haven't bought any new makeup. That's why I've just been enjoying beer and movies and hot yoga and just the makeup that I already have in my collection. Nothing new. Well, I guess these are kind of new, but I bought them at the end of last year before the no-buy year began. And I'm still discovering things out of my collection because I have such a big collection. It's reminding me all the time, the fact that I'm still discovering stuff out of my collection, and it's reminding me all the time that I don't need to add to it. So that's been really great. I began already saying this earlier, but that is it. That is my March favorites. Tell me down below in the comments, what are your March favorites? It doesn't have to be makeup, but it can be makeup. Tell me about your favorite makeup that you've been wearing, your favorite movies, your favorite food, your favorite way of getting exercise. If you're sad about winter ending, are you happy about winter ending? Tell me about what the weather is like in your part of the world. But that is it, guys. I hope you really enjoyed watching this. I really enjoyed making this video and hanging out with you guys. And I hope to hang out with you again soon. Cheers! And cheers!